Hey there, ready to dive into Utkarsh Small Finance Bank's latest earnings report? It looks like they released their financials for the quarter and 9 months, ending December 31st, 2024.
Absolutely. I've got my financial analyst hat on. So, where do we start with Utkarsh? What's their story in a nutshell?
Well, Utkarsh Small Finance Bank focuses on providing financial services to underserved populations, primarily in rural and semi-urban areas. They operate across 26 states and UTs with a network of 1,028 branches as of December 21st, 2024.
Okay, got it. So, they're really digging into those areas that bigger banks might overlook. What about any big strategic moves lately?
Good question. Actually, Utkarsh Core Invest Limited, which is basically their holding company, is planning to merge into the bank. They've gotten a no objection from the RBI, but still need some other approvals. The effective date they're shooting for is April 1st, 2025, but that could change.
Interesting move. Must be some synergies they're hoping for there. Let's get into the numbers. How did they actually perform? Let's start with the consolidated income statement. What are the key figures?
Revenue, EBITDA, PBT, PAT, the whole shebang. Okay, for the 9 months ended December 31st, 2024, their operating profit pre-provisions increased by 8.1% year on year to 773 crore rupees. But their profit after tax dropped to 21 crore rupees compared to 338 crore rupees in the same period last year. So for the third quarter, they actually reported a net loss of 168 crore rupees against a PAT of 116 crore rupees in Q3 of the previous year.
Ouch, a loss in Q3? That's a pretty big swing. What's driving that? Was there anything unusual happening?
According to Mr. Gobind Singh, the MD and CEO, the microbanking lending environment was tough. There was a tightening of credit supply for microbanking borrowers due to new regulatory norms, which led to higher provisioning in Q3.
Regulatory headwinds make sense. Higher provisioning will definitely eat into profits. What about dividends? Did they declare anything?
No dividend declarations mentioned in this press release, but the board did propose a dividend of 0.50 rupees per share for the year ended March 31st, 2024, which shareholders approved and was paid out during the quarter ended September 30th, 2024.
Okay, good to know they're still returning value to shareholders when they can. Now, let's switch gears to the balance sheet. Any red flags or major changes in assets, liabilities, or equity?
Well, deposits grew by 33.5% year on year, reaching 20,172 crore rupees. That's pretty solid, led by a 40.6% growth in retail term deposits. The share of secured loans in their portfolio also increased to 41% as of December 31st, 2024, up from 34% back in March 2024.
That's a good sign. More secured loans generally mean less risk. Are there any solvency or liquidity concerns we should be aware of?
Their gross NPAs did increase to 6.17% as of December 31st, 2024, compared to 3.04% a year earlier. And net NPAs jumped to 2.50% versus just 0.19% last year.
Rising NPAs are definitely a worry. But what about their capital adequacy? Are they still well capitalized?
Yeah, their capitalization seems comfortable. The crore is at 21.16% and Tier 1 capital is at 17.94% as of December 31st, 2024.
Okay, that's reassuring. Now, let's talk cash flow. Are they generating enough cash to cover their dividends and operations?
The press release doesn't explicitly detail cash flow numbers, but we know operating profit provisions increased even though net profit took a hit. However, the mention of dividend payouts suggests they are managing cash reasonably well, even with the recent challenges.
All right, let's move on to financial ratios, those handy shortcuts for understanding a company's health. What profitability ratios stand out, like EBITDA, margin?
The press release highlights the pre-provision operating profit margin, but not specifically EBITDA margin. For profitability, we know their net interest margin for 9M FY25 was 8.6%.
Okay, and what about liquidity and debt?
They don't give us the current or quick ratio directly, but the CD ratio improved to 91.9% as of December 31st, 2024, compared to 93.7% as of March 31st, 2024.
Before we go further, I wanted to remind our listeners that all of this information is based on publicly available data. And disclaimer, we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions.
Good call. It's always important to do your homework and get professional advice before making any financial moves.
All right, let's get back to it. How does Utkarsh's current performance compare to its past results? Have things been generally trending up or down?
Well, looking at the 9-month figures, you see that operating profit is up, but profit after tax is way down. This suggests some margin compression. But the growth in deposits and the shift to more secured lending are positive signs for long-term stability,
Definitely. And what does management think about the future? What's their outlook?
Management seems cautiously optimistic. They acknowledged the difficulties in the micro banking sector, but believe the situation will stabilize. They also emphasized a focus on growing the secured loan portfolio and optimizing disbursement yields. They're also expanding their branch network, which shows they're investing in future growth.
Branch expansion in this digital age, huh? Interesting. What are the biggest risks and opportunities facing Utkarsh right now?
Risks, definitely the asset quality concerns, as indicated by the rising NPAs. The regulatory environment also seems to be a factor. Opportunities, the growth in deposits, the increasing share of secured loans, and the expansion into new markets. Plus, their focus on digital services could give them an edge.
All right, let's wrap things up. What's your overall assessment of Utkarsh Small Finance Bank based on this earnings report? Is it a thumbs up, thumbs down, or somewhere in between?
It's a mixed bag, actually. The bank is facing some definite headwinds, mainly related to asset quality in their microfinance portfolio. However, their deposit growth, shift to secured lending, and branch expansion plans indicate potential for future growth. So I'd say it's a cautiously optimistic assessment.
So for Utkarsh, focus on the long game, watch those NPAs closely, and hope for those regulatory headwinds to die down. Well, great analysis. Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. And hey, if you're enjoying these deep dives into financial reports, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you won't miss any of our future episodes.
Definitely. And remember, folks, this is just our take on the situation. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions.
Exactly. Until next time.